premise for this entire video is going to be preparing for future PvP tournaments and just Great League PvP in general. I've dived way too far into this. I just want to put out my top 20. I know other YouTubers have their picks for what's going to be great for PvP. We saw in our last tournament, there are about 4 or 5 from the last tournament that are in my top 20 that are going to make a huge dent in PvP. So if you're going to battle in the Great League, this is my guide on what Pokemon to use and how to go ahead and acquire those. So number 20, hopefully I can put it up on screen, the Pokemon, but Raleigh. Obviously it's my number 20 because its difficulty is pretty easy to catch. I put everything on a 1 to 5 scale when it comes to catchability, and Raleigh is a 2. It's really easy because of the fact that at level 20 he becomes the best Great League number. The only hard part about that is, if you can see from my screen, is that if you get a perfect level 20 he becomes 1502, which is just too high. But you can trade all level 20s. I could trade this one and potentially get less than 1502, but with a non-weather boosted raid he's also available. I also like to talk about what things you can just simply catch in order to get him, because I know a lot of people don't have raid options, but they do have spawn points they know about. So Shroomish, he is available in the wild, and the ranges that you want to find him are level 19 to level 20. That's going to be 428 CP all the way to 451. So if you're looking through your Pokemon storage and you see a Shroomish that's somewhere between 428 and 451, go ahead and evolve him. He will be great for your Great League. So Breloom is number 20. Number 19, we're going to go with Sceptile. Once again, the reason I rank these guys 20 to number 1 is for different things. Obviously difficulty to catch, use in Great League, and how close they can be to 1500 and their level within that said category. Once we had those numbers, we could find out exactly what their damage would look like and their effectiveness within the Great League. So for Sceptile, less than level 19, which equals roughly 1496 depending on IVs, of course. The really cool part about that is he's a starter, which means eventually he will get an exclusive moveset, which means you can have 3 moves, potentially even 4 moves, and people wouldn't know what moveset he would have. If you're out there catching your Tricos, you're going to want to try and find anything from 541 to 571. And luckily for me, I actually have one because of its IVs that caps out at 1500. If you are going to be looking for Groviles, which oddly enough right now in January is in a tier 2 raid. So I think there was one at the beginning of the park when I came in. I'm going to go and check when I leave. But any of Groviles between 860 and 908 will give you that Sceptile that is just under 1500, probably closer to 1496 than the 1500 depending on its IVs. So number 19, Sceptile. Number 18, it's a brand new one, Gen 4, Toxicroaks. I don't have one in my Pokedex yet. I do have some Krogunk and I have a bunch of candy in order to make it, but I haven't got one good enough in the IV and in the area that I want it to be. He's number 18. His difficulty is 3 because he's not as well seen, he's not as common, but he's a little bit harder to find. But right now, luckily, he's in eggs, so you can hatch him. Obviously, they won't be in a level 21 state when they hatch, but if you can get a Krogunk at level 21, it will become a Toxicroak of about 1493 or less. What that means is if you see a Krogunk that's between 544 and 571, you're going to want to catch him. I put him on a difficulty of 3. It was a 4 because we didn't see him as much until this event started, but then they put him in eggs, so we had to bring it down to a 3. Number 17 is going to be Raikou. The reason why is because even if you get a level 100 in your research breakthrough, you will be able to get a perfect one to be right around 1479. So like I said, that's a non-weather boosted, non-raids, not from earlier. You did have to catch Raikou from raids earlier in order to catch him, but right now he's in research breakthrough, and if you get a perfect one, you can get it under the 1500 cap. He is a very strong electric attacker. There were a couple other ones that I had put into this category, but mine's going to be 1498, almost perfectly at 1500 to bring into the Great League. His difficulty level is 4 because it is kind of a toss-up right now for the current raid or current research breakthroughs. You don't really know what you're going to get. We will get another one tomorrow and we'll find out. I have gotten an Entei and a Raikou, so you really don't know what you're going to get. So number 17, Raikou. Number 16, we're going to have Flygon. This is one that you guys saw a lot in the last PvP tournament for the Great League in the Boulder Cup. The reason why he's number 16, obviously Trapinch is out a lot during this event right now. I haven't seen a Vibrava at all, or even a Flygon in the wild in a long time, but he is fairly easy to get right now because he's also in eggs. In fact, he's in 2 different set of eggs, so right now he's pretty easy to come upon. So if you can get a Trapinch in the range of 673 to 710, or a Vibrava from 647 to 682, which is level 19.5 or lower, it will come out to roughly 1488, perfect for the Great League. I think the math here is a little bit strange. Somebody was trying to explain it to me the other day, but basically Trapinch is stronger than Vibrava in more ways than one. So number 16, Flygon. Number 15, Venusaur. Obviously, with it being a starter and already having a community day, it's a very strong contender for people because of the fact that they have a bunch of these, or had a bunch of these, and potentially made Ivysaurs or Venusaurs on that Bulbasaur day to get into a certain range for this league. What that means is basically anything less than level 19 will roughly equal out to about 1476, which would be perfect for the Great League. If you find a Bulbasaur that's ranged between 573 and 605, or if you find an Ivysaur between the range of 873 and 922. They will both give you that level 19 or lower and save you a ton of dust when it comes to evolving them. Once again, it's kind of awesome because of the fact that he's already had a community day, and Bulbasaur is in research, so you don't even have to encounter him in the wild. You can simply just spin a photo disc and win a gym battle and get a Bulbasaur, or power up a Pokemon 5 times and get a Bulbasaur. Those will both probably be level 15, so you will have to spend a little bit of dust. And I made his difficulty level 1 because if it's certain weather, Bulbasaur is everywhere. Obviously during this event, he's not the generation that's going on right now. He's going to disappear for a little while. But as soon as this event's over, boom, he's back and he's everywhere. The starters will always be a difficulty 1, mostly because they've already had a community day. But at number 15, Venusaur. Number 14 is going to be Marshtomp. We saw a lot of him in our previous tournament in the Boulder Cup. The cool thing about Marshtomp is he is a starter, and once again, eventually Swampert will gain an exclusive move. I don't know if they will give Marshtomp his own exclusive move, but once again, since he is a starter, he does have the bonus of it not costing a ton of Stardust to add that extra move. So he is a difficulty level 2. The hardest part about him is the fact that you have to find him all the way up to level 29.5 or lower in order to get a 1497. As you can see, I have a 9825 and he is a 1488, which is still great for the Great League. What that means is if you are walking around in the wild and you do see a Mudkip, you want to basically make sure everyone is between 918 and 951 you catch, because those are going to be perfect for the Great League. The other cool thing about Marshtomp is right now during the January event, he is also a tier 2 raid boss and soloable. So you can go out without any extra friends, find that gym, take down Marshtomp, and very easily add one to your team. The only downside is you would have to add that Stardust. So, number 14, Marshtomp. Number 13 is going to be Metagross. This one's difficulty is going to be pretty difficult. The reason why I gave it a level 4 is because of the fact that you have to get it under level 13 and a half. That's pretty insane. Most people don't keep things that are that low. I'm one of those weird people who was already into this math before it got started, and I have a level 14 that's just barely under the cap, mostly because of its IV. But the reason it's only a level 4 when it comes, or 3 when it comes to difficulty, is because of the fact that it has had a community day, and you may have friends that have a ton of these just laying around. Trade them. The shinies, you would be surprised they kept the shinies even though they were low levels because they were shiny. Those are the ones you need to go and find, and the range for those Beldum is going to be 348 to 376. If they did evolve them to Meltang or Metang, then you're going to be looking for a 615 to 664. Also right now during the January event, tier 4 raid boss, Metagross. Obviously it will be a level 15, so you won't be able to get it into the Great League, but you can get the candies if you want to go ahead and evolve or use some Stardust on a lower level shiny or just regular lower level Metagross. So number 13, Metagross. Number 12, Minun. An electric type Pokemon. His difficulty level is 2. During this event right now, I have seen him everywhere. I've literally caught 2 shinies during this event, and they've both been Minun. Been pretty crazy in my opinion, but he hasn't had his own day, but he's still pretty simple to find. He did, actually I think Plus O Mining did have a day when their shinies first were released, so therefore some of you probably do have a few of them. The hard part is going to be the amount of Stardust you have to spend. When it comes to mining, you have to get them up to level 31 and a half. You can catch them up to level 35 in the wild, but he is in a tier 1 raid right now, which means level 15, which means you would have to put 20 levels worth of Stardust into him. So basically, if you can find one in the wild that's anywhere between 1300 and 1500, that's where you're going to make it up. I have caught, like I said, 2 shinies this. Go out, use that mining. He is my number 12. Number 11 is going to be Melmetal. The reason why I put him at difficulty level 4, because there is a lot of work that goes into Melmetal. 1, you have to have a friend that has a Switch, or you have to have a Switch, and then you have to go ahead and trade a Pokemon into Let's Go. Once you do that, you have to do the Meltan quest, or you can do the Meltan quest within Pokemon Go, and that still doesn't give you enough candies in order to do what you want to do with him. Because he's going to hatch, or he's going to come from that quest at level 15, and in order to get a Melmetal into the Great League, he needs to be level 13 and a half or lower. So what I would suggest is get that friend, even if you've done the Meltan quest in Pokemon Go, get somebody who has Let's Go, get a Meltan, and you want him in the range of 464 to 499. And I would do this every week if you have the opportunity. Meet up with them, do it, and then only save those Pokemon that are below that 499 range until you have enough candy for that 400 to evolve it. So number 11 is Melmetal, and he is a level 4 difficulty. Alright guys, I am back at the office. I just completed the top 20 video. I wanted to put up it in 2 sections, obviously 20 through 11 and then 10 through 1. I want to give a big shout out to PB Pokey website, as well as PokeWalls, WordPress.com. Their backgrounds are awesome. I use in this video a lot. Also want to give a shout out to Bulbapedia. I used a lot of their images, and of course Pokemon Go Hub for a lot of the information. So hope you guys like this video. If you think you know what the top 10 are, go ahead and guess down in the comment section. If you If you want to see next week's video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video so I can know to put this much work. It was a lot of work, but I think it's pretty helpful for you guys when it comes to PvP. Once again, JP Raleigh signing off. As always, catch everything.